guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through, much like I did with my fancy team post, the Amy Community Series and Bride Round 0, but this time with the SuperCoach side, giving you that update a couple of days out from Round 0, starting with now the new time of the season start being the Friday night Swans-Hawks game. So anyway, let's just jump straight into it. As some of you might realize, this is a slight little upgrade on the YouTube side of it for the display. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So original D1, as you can see there, I think much the same of what I'm trying to do with Fantasy. There's a lot of similarities, like players have the same sort of upside, even though they're different platforms. And obviously some different scoring in terms of points that they're priced at, but most of the guys are within a relative band, I would say. And yeah, Harry Sheezel, D1, I think he's just going to go off. To be honest with you, he's probably a better SuperCoach player than Fantasy in terms of what he does, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he definitely looks like a guy that could get a 180, 190 type of spike game in there. He had a 160 last year and a 159, so I mean, yeah, pretty obvious selection, I feel like. Then hunting value is definitely the word of the day in this, in terms of that. I did, for a lot of the preseason, have that sort of extra primo, I would say, but now with everything, I'm just trying to really just get cash gen, because cash generation, one of these guys could easily hang around and stuff like that. Or one of these guys turns into, say, Matt Roberts turns into a top 8 scorer, then suddenly you got 2 top 8s there and you just have to trade for 4 more. And so yeah, that's just the order of the day, is just trying to gain as much value as you can, because one of these guys may not be necessarily top of the line that you get in, say Oliver or a Dawson or a Rosie, etc. Well, you'd kind of hope that these guys would be keepers, but maybe they're just turned into that 23rd premium, which we should be able to achieve, if not a 24th premium, if we don't get any injuries. And yeah, just using probably the injuries as a way of gaining value early on with a lot of these guys. So that's sort of why that's in case. So yeah, short there, Roberts, because of the Goulden injury as well as the Mills injury, there's going to be a lot of flipping around with the flank players or the flankers, so he should be, there's a realistic opportunity that Patton, Wicks and Blakey are the other smalls in the back line, and suddenly you're looking at a lot more distribution there for Roberts, so that's why he's there. Perriman, 417, yeah, he just looks a guy, and we're just hoping these two pop off in round 0. I don't care if they're obvious selections and they go up to 70% owned. I just want someone in the back line at this point, so hopefully they go 140. Please, just give us something that's obvious, plain in the back line, so that we can just go. And yeah, these guys there, and yeah, hopefully something pops up. Hopefully we get a rookie pop up, basically, is what I'm thinking. And then Fraser, this one is a little bit irky, and I mean, it's probably just me copying my fantasy per se, and just putting it all on one player rather than 2. But definitely a guy that I'm going to be shifting around. You see that I do have the 47.2k in the bank spare. He's a guy that I don't know what's going to happen. I think there could be potentially 3-4 weeks of upside there, and if we just look at that, and I know people will be like, you shouldn't be just having it for sort of 3-4 weeks, but say he goes 90 for 3 or 4 weeks here, you'll see 90 for 3 weeks or 4 weeks per se gets him from a 370 up to a 413. And combine that with Leak going, say, or Zach Reed going, let's just say 60. Let's just go 60 here. Project. Zach Reed, are you gonna project for us? You gonna do that, please? I don't know what's going on with this and why it's not projecting. But anyway, let's just redo this and just see if it will do it for us. 60. Let's just see, project. If Zach Reed does a 60 for like 4 weeks as well, up until around that round 5 or so, give or take, suddenly he's looking at a 237 or so, and around that round 5, and that's right when I want to try and get Fraser up. And the 237k, that's already 100k. We talked about Fraser going up. Hopefully you have a little bit of cash, etc. Maybe instead of a 60, he does a 70, something like that, which would dramatically help it. That would get it up and around that. Even if you were to wait another week into 295k, then you have 180k on Fraser, etc. So you kind of are hoping Fraser, instead of does the 90, does like a 95 or so, which would get him up a little bit quicker, which would get him to around about that round 6, 7 up into that 450k range. And then that's when you can just get him up very, very quickly with 120k. Say a rookie that's 120 has gone up to 230 or so. That's enough cash to get him up to what you want, give or take a little bit. So Fraser, I wish I could get him up to the likes of a Jordan Clark, but just with the current structure, I cannot. Prior on here on the bench here, that does mean that in round 4 I will have the 2 off. In round 1 I'll have 1 off, and then in round 3 I'll have the 2 off there. So definitely going to Prior might not be the best option now that he doesn't have the round 0 and has the round 3 bye still. So that probably isn't the best option, and maybe you could actually look at potentially bringing in Prior after someone has already jumped. But this is just sort of round 0, and I'll sort of make up that decision as we get to potentially maybe even you could do, but then again, that's when you're getting 3 players on. If you were to do Patton, Patton could honestly come here or something like that as well. Just thinking out loud there. I think Patton's 133k. If he gets a start and does well, that could happen. But yeah, I don't think I can play Patton here because of the 3, but maybe that's the way you get cashed in, and you just move Patton to someone else like a Jackson Pryor or something like that after it, and that's where you get the cash generation from. Just something like that idea. But yeah, Zach Reed and Leake on the bench. Moving into the midfield, Sarong with the Butters and Bont being out. Sarong, I could easily just do this to Nick Dacos. I've definitely thought about that across both platforms, going Nick Dacos. But then I'm just like, Nick Dacos, we'll see how round 0 goes. He's one of the moving metrics outside of the guys outside of the guys that I have on my side on both platforms. Nick Dacos is probably the one that I would move if he does do really well against Bedford. And GWS as a whole. So that's one of the reasons why, and it would probably be for Sarong. If he's beating the tag, then I feel like he could easily put up monster scores, and everyone's still going to have that midfielder. I feel like if like 70% of the comp has Dacos, I'll probably just side with that in itself. But we'll see how that goes. Dawson, M2, finding value there. He could easily, and I say this easily, if we look back in 2023, there's like 13 points of value there. Is it? Yeah, 13.8 points of value. That's just crazy. If he gets 13.8 points of value, that is almost like 65, 70k. And that's huge in SuperCoach. Rosie, basically the same premise as well. He's about 9 points of value. So if you're hunting all these 9, 10 points of value of guys that could, if we just look at it in terms of SuperCoach, in terms of players, seasonal ranking, I believe is that right in saying he was the 14th guy last in 2023, and he's now the 76th most expensive guy. If he can get back to that, I'm suspecting that would probably be top 10, if not like top 6 in the, if we actually go back to players, and I'll run this back quickly past years. Go to season 2024. Can I go to 2023? Thank you. Filters, midfielders, and then go by average. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just see. Jordan Dawson at number 8, and then also where is Connor Rosie at number 20? A couple years ago at 107.6. So yeah, definitely is a guy that could be very, very valuable. And that was a number 20 in the midfield. If you take out the midfield, then you will see he was number 26 overall. So he was number 26 overall. I believe he's number 76 or so last year. If we just go to 2024 averages, and let's just hotkey in Rosie just to see if it will pop. Rosie was 60th, so there's like 34 player spots available for him if he jumps up, and there's no Butters, so that's the reasoning behind that, I would say. For Rosie there. Oliver, he's just looked so good in preseason that I think you just have to go there with Oliver. And then Chera is probably the one that I'm looking at going, I wonder if there's a way in which, and I just want to do this now, just thinking about this. If I was to go Clark, what cash would I have? I'd have 301k to get a player. If I just go to players I can afford and then go by ownership, you're going to have Daniel Kako, etc. Just looking through, is there anyone here that I really like that I'm missing out on? I don't think so. I think they're in the 350k range or so. Like, people are, I think, going a little bit on Peatling. Peatling's down a little bit in terms of ownership. Could go Cumming, but I don't like that role there for Cumming, to be honest, as much. Sanders almost could grab him up, etc. So we'll see how round 0 goes in terms of who you pick up, etc. Ollie Holland's only 30k away from him, and that would pretty much put me almost at the exact same structure. So yeah, I'll put Fraser back in at the moment, but Fraser here. But if I go 1 second, let me just get rid of all that there. Fraser comes up, and then we get Shearer here, which I think he will be owned by quite a few by the time that the season starts. But anyway, that's that, if I just get out of that. But there's definitely options there, and so I think I could go even more in one direction or another. And obviously the round 0 scores, we're probably going to want some guys like maybe even a Corey Warner or something like that, who could go bang, 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 and suddenly be 230, 220k at his buy, and you can gain 110k by going on to someone like maybe a Boxall or something like that, presents maybe a Max Hall or something, some forward. Even just going down to a Hewitt from a Corey Warner could be absolutely huge, and you could gain a lot of cash. You could get 2 looks at Hewitt just to see if he's gone well, etc. So there's some things like that where you're just like, okay, that the Sydney boys and the Sydney and Collingwood guys could be really, really valuable, because we sort of expect the Brisbane Geelong game to be rescheduled round 3, and the Essendon versus Gold Coast game to be replayed in round 24 in the week of prior to the bye week, prior to finals, I should say. And I don't know the influence that will have on SuperCoach and Fantasy in terms of how they play it out. I suspect they'll just disregard the game, but we'll see how that goes out, and we'll get news about that in the coming days, I think, when that gets finalised. I've tangented a little bit here, but yeah, Ashcroft, Sheldrick, Nevitt, Finn O'Sullivan, Lindsay, and Camporelli. At the moment, I don't think I'm missing anyone, but let me just double check through Camporelli if I'm missing anyone in sort of that lower 200k midfielders. You have Kako there, don't want him at the moment. I think people are going to slide on him. You got Sardis, and you'll see where he is, if it wasn't obvious by the fact that he's selected. And then Harvey Langford, O'Driscoll, etc. I'm guessing Murphy Reed, 8% owned as well. Yeah. And then Sammy Layla and other guys there that are potentially out early. So yeah, you even have like Cody Angrove and forwards. Let's just see the forwards that I could switch to. Yeah, so there's a lot of guys there that we expect to get games that you could switch to, etc. But let me just grab Camporelli back again. I don't know what his ownership. I've just spelled that wrong. 16% ownership, so people are hoping that he gets that wing role and uses it wisely. But yeah, that's pretty much all the rookies that I think most people will be looking at. Then you have Cherry and decoding there. I think most people are running that. And Boyd sitting there. Royal Marshall looked really good in training from the footage I saw today, so I don't think Boyd necessarily gets a start, but maybe with the chaos he does, because Sharman's a test. Let's actually just go to St Kilda Saints. Let's go to their injury list. 2 more sign-on injuries. Let's see this. So Cooper Sharman will be sidelined for about 4 weeks, recovering from a thumb. Mitch Owen, who was unable to play out the game against the Power due to injuries, looking to a 1 to 3 week in rehab on his shoulder. Royal Marshall, Sinclair, Henry are looking good. Hunter, so Clark and Jones put themselves into contention for round 1, and Philippou now off crutches. Howard and Dow progressing. So you got Max King out, Mitch Owens out, Henry well, I thought Henry was, what is going on? Oh, rejoined the squad last week, so he's still well away. Taru can't play. Wow, their key position stocks are down. So, Boyd, I don't think will play. He will play. I don't think he'll have as much of an influence as we thought he would in preseason. But yeah, I don't think he would have played if they had all the forward injuries that they do have. If King was fit or Mitch Owen was fit, or Sharman, I don't think was on that injury list. Sharman 4 weeks, yeah, I'm mental blank there. If those three guys weren't on the injury list, he wouldn't be playing, simply put, I don't think. Francis is in here. McRae, Smith, Daniel. There's a part of me that wants to get rid of Sanders as well. Get Sanders there, but I just don't know in terms of SuperCoach if it's going to be as valuable if he only has, because Trelaw's 3 weeks away, it's suspects, which is before even the first price rise for Sanders. Does he get chucked out of the side or just play a small forward role, etc.? So that's something I'm looking towards in fantasy and trying to figure out the permutations of it. And then Davidson, Stone, these guys are all, Davidson has a really good run in terms of being able to be emergency looped. So Hewitt could easily turn into a Corey Warner here if I just do that now. 148k there. Then I have 21k spare to make movements there. And so yeah, that would give me the opportunity now in rounds 2 and 3 to loop Davidson or a Stone score on there, as Smith now doesn't have that. And then we have Elijah Sardis as well, who is on the flex position. And then in round 4, when he isn't, then I'll just put like a Foz or something like that on. And so that is the SuperCoach side going into round 0. And we'll see how much carnage round 0 has. If you guys did enjoy the video itself, give a like. And remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. If you're listening on Spotify, give me a follow and a rating over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.